Hey guys, welcome back! Today we are putting the finishing details on this lovely factory, and I think this whole project is really going to come alive today. I mean, the farms are all great and I do think they look pretty good too, but once all the details are in, this place is going to look so good and I can't wait. And I think the inside is going to be our best starting place. I really want to try where I can to connect the details on the inside and the outside together so it feels cohesive, because I think it would be all too easy to make the outside and inside feel quite disjointed in this project. So let's get the inside all decorated and see what we have to work with. Now that is more like it. From an empty shell to a full steampunkish factory, I just love this interior. And to start, we've got a little workbench with some bits and bobs for fixing things around the factory, and a little prototype robot thing, which I thought was pretty cute. Maybe it'll be a future worker here or something. But my favourite desk in this place has to be the one under the stairs. I don't know what it is, but I really love this little spot. Maybe it's the way it's just tucked in here, maybe it's the end rod lighting or the little pot, I don't know, but something about this space really speaks to me. And then we of course have our biggest details, which is all of the various cogs. And I'm not even going to begin to pretend that any of this would work or be functional in any way. It's definitely all there for aesthetics, but I still think they look really cool. And I think this little cog assembly is my favourite set inside the factory. Although, to be fair, the cog on this side has got a little bit more of an intricate design. And the one that's half inside and outside, I really can't wait to finish building this one because I love the way it pokes into the roof. I just think it just adds a certain something. But the biggest details in here are definitely all of the pipes and electrical cables we have everywhere. And this is the part where I really want to connect everything together outside. I want the pipes to continue looping and connect to water and lava sources to show where everything is coming from. And I want all these cables to connect to each other and maybe connect to some generator looking thing to try and explain how some of the lights are running. I didn't manage to find a good way to connect these big lights to the cables, but like I said, I'm not pretending any of this would actually work. I'm just doing my best to make things work where I can, and I think it really would have spoiled the aesthetics of this place to have a bunch of lightning rods just coming all the way across this building. But as you can probably tell, I am very eager to get outside and finish the rest of this project. So I think it's about time that I shut up and we finish this project. so happy with this place. I mean, please forgive the Freecam, it's just a little bit hard to look around otherwise, but just look at this place. I love it. But let me show you around properly, and to do that, let's start at the front, where we didn't add a ton of stuff because we of course already had the huge window, which does take up most of the wall, but we did add a little generator type thing to power some of our lights and things, and we also have some of our external piping and cabling just wrapping around the corners, which I think gives the front just enough detail to be interesting but not super overpowering. But it's when we go around to the sides that we really start to see the detail. So here we have our extended catwalk turned into balcony, which, as I mentioned before, I do really like. And it even has a little seating area for sunny days, and of course it also has some cogs and cables just dotted above. But my favourite bit on this side of the building has to be this fan, and I just love the way this came out. It was very heavily inspired by one of the fans that Impulse SV built in his Cyberpunk city, but it really just looks so effective. I love it. I love it so much. And then coming around to the back of the building, we have our little water tank, which I really like, and it does really help soften that corner, which I'm pretty sure I mentioned at some point when building this. And in terms of the lore, it gives us a place to pump the water into the building for any watery needs it may have. We also have another little sort of backup generator, which currently I think is mostly just connected to the lights above our cactus farm, but it could work as a backup if one of the other generators was to go down. But the most important and best bit of this side of the building has to be the giant cog, and I just love this. I know it's silly and it doesn't even have like a pretend purpose in this build, but as soon as I decided to make this factory, I just knew I wanted to have a cog that was half stuck out of the roof, and I really do love it. It adds a certain something, you know? And then as for the final side of our building, we have this little cog setup, which I think is kind of like a gear system on a bike, I guess. I mostly just really wanted to put some cogs together in different ways than I have elsewhere in the building, and using this kind of like chained or belted connection just looks really cool, and I really like it. And we also on this side have the lava pump to go with the water tank on the back. And this is just a little reservoir full of lava and the pipe going in and pumping all of the lava out, which goes into things like the dripstone lava farm and also our stone generator. And I was originally thinking of putting this pipe like really deep into the ground and just having a little bit of lava at the bottom, so it felt like it was actually pumping out of like an active reservoir of lava, but this just ended up looking so much better, and it also means that all the other lava pockets make more sense, because if the lava was super deep down in the ground, all of these would suddenly just feel a little bit weird. So I ended up going with this, and it does just look so much better, so I am very happy with that decision. And then finally we have our roof. And one of the other things along with the cog that I knew I wanted straight away when trying to work out what I wanted to do for this build was I wanted to have a bunch of like janky pipes and chimneys and everything coming out of the roof, and I would say I pretty much achieved that. So over here we've got a bit more of like a direct heat vent for the lava pipes so they don't get ridiculously hot all the time. I mean, they would obviously still get super hot, but this is Minecraft logic, so this is taking away all of the heat from the lava pipes. And then all of the other chimneys are also connected to the pipes that are near the ceiling inside, but they then expand into a bit more of like significant chimneys, and overall I just really love having the variety with the one that's straight and then one that's completely wonky and the one with little offshoots. I think my favourite is probably this little guy. I don't know why, but when I added it to the roof, I think it was actually the last chimney I ended up designing, it just added something and made the entire roof fall into place for me. So I think that's my favourite, but don't tell the others. They're all pretty darn cool. And I guess there we have it. Our factory is all up and running and looking its best both inside and out, and I am honestly just really looking forward to standing around, walking around here, AFKing these farms. I mean, what a view to have when loading farms. We are light years ahead of where we started before this project. Do you remember the grassy field and the tiny box made out of bone blocks? I think we've done a pretty good job since then. But I think that is going to have to do it for today. Like I said, I am just over the moon with how this came out, from the farms themselves to all the decorations. I just really hope you guys liked this project because I had an absolute blast. And I think next time I might try and finish up some little things like building ourselves an eye blossom farm, decorating the pale garden portal on the nether roof, and maybe some other bits and bobs as well. So, until then, thank you guys for watching, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!